said that a man would
Okay, hey, out there tonight, we're going to have a little bit of a teaching, preaching thing going on. It is Saturday night, so we try to keep the teaching to a minimum. But everybody needs to hear this. It spoke volumes to me when I heard the message and when I read it, and when I read it again today. It's made an impact in my life, several things. So we're going to start off with Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer righteousness to be moved. If there's trouble in your life, something you can't get past, something you can't get over, give it to God. It's that simple. You can't do it on your own, no matter how hard you try, how much you try. I myself have to try everything, and it never fails. I mean, it always fails. It never works out because I'm trying to do it on my own instead of asking God for help or turning it over to Him. Because we were taught pride. We were taught that, whatever you want, you have to earn, you have to work for, you have to bust your back for it. You have to kill yourself to get it. And if God's going to give you something, then, you got to be righteous and you got to pray. And if it's His will, He's going to give it to you. And that's not how any of it works. We've all been beaten down, broken, busted. But we need to get past our pride. And that's the hardest thing to get past, is pride. Because we're taught that you got to have pride in everything you do. You got to be proud of yourself. You got to take pride in your work. You got to take pride in your job. You got to take pride in your family. You got to take pride in everything you own. And you know what? Pride's of the devil. Because your pride gets in the way, and you're like, you know what? I can do this. You know what? You start shuffling money around to pay bills. You start shuffling money around because you want something, or you figure out if you want something. Me personally, for the longest time, when I wanted something and I had the money for it, I went and got it. If I didn't have the money for it, well, I didn't need it. And that kind of hurt my pride. Pride is really powerful. It's of the devil. It's 100% of the devil. I give you instances of it, because as soon as you're proud, you're like, I can do this. Your boss gives you something to do, a job to do at work, and you're like, I can do this. And you do it the best that you can. Everything you know how. Proud of it. No matter what it is. We'll say baking a cake. That's real simple. It's decorated. It's nice. It's the great, best cake ever. Somebody's going to criticize it. That's when your pride gets hurt. Or you get to the point where you're decorating it and you put flowers on it, and you get to the last flower, and you cough or you sneeze, or something happens and you ruin the cake. Well, your pride just took a hit because that was the best thing and nobody's ever seen it. Nobody saw it with you. Nobody's going to believe it but you. So then you get upset and you get angry. Well, when you get upset and get angry, then you're like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You start getting into a deep depression. You start going into a hole. What's the only thing at the bottom of the hole besides the bottom? The devil, because he's pulling you down into a hole. You take a hit on your pride. That causes anger. That causes family problems. That causes problems with children. That causes problems with coworkers, friends, relatives, everything, because the devil's pulling you in and he's got you, and he just keeps feeding that, and making you remember that you destroyed that cake. Or, it doesn't even have to be that. Your boss says, hey, I need this done by 2 o'clock, and you're like, I'm on it, boom, and it's already 12:30. You're like, I can do this, no problem. 2 o'clock comes down, and you're still not even halfway through. The boss is like, hey, I thought you said you could do this. You're my best guy. Why couldn't you do this? Why isn't this done? Takes a hit to your pride. So instead of getting fired, the boss walks away. You call him everything under the sun, and the moon, and under the earth, and whatever choice words you want to use. But that's what we do because our pride's hurt, and the devil feeds on that. He feeds on the anger. He feeds on the hate. He says, "Oh, who does the boss think he is?" Telling you you were doing the best you can. Your boss is nothing. Just wait. You're going to be his boss one day, and you can make him feel like he makes you feel. And then you start feeding off the hate, and you think it's good because it motivates you. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be the boss. And when I'm the boss, nobody can tell me what to do. There's a boss above you, and there's a boss above him. And that's the thing that we have to do is we have to get over our pride. That's the hard part. For me, that was hard. It's still hard. I still have an issue with it. I'm getting better because I took pride in everything I did, especially work-wise. Now that I've got this job working for God, it's really a struggle to keep my pride out of the way. But I've learned a lot from my wife, from God, from other ministers, reading the Bible. Just understanding it that the pride's of the devil. And you learn to get your pride out of the way. And that's the hard part, is getting your pride out of the way, because you want to do your best and you want to make sure everybody's happy. You want to make sure your boss is happy, because if your boss is happy, you're happy because your paycheck's big, your wife's happy because your paycheck's big, and that just kills us. Listen, I wrote down the definition of pride. The feeling of deep pleasure in one's achievements. We all have that. The quality of having an excessively high opinion of oneself or one's importance. Basically, pride is self-gratification. You can be happy at work, but you don't have to take credit for it. And that's what happens to a lot of us, because, working in a group setting, the boss comes by and says, hey, how you guys doing? Oh, great, look at what I did. I did this, and I don't know what these guys are doing. They're slacking off or whatever, but I did this. Instead of saying, hey, boss, we're doing good. We're having a little bit of trouble. These guys want to take a break, get a drink of water, get something to eat, whatever. We gotta take credit for it. You see it on, with people all the time. It's like, and your family feeds that fire. Believe it or not, they do, because they're, especially when you're working hard to get a promotion or trying to do better, to get a raise. Because basically we're in an economic society. It's money driven. But your family, your wife's telling you, or your husband's like, oh, I know you can get this. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. And they're feeding you. They're making you feel good about yourself, but they're also feeding you the negative energy. Because as soon as you go up there, for the promotion, and the boss is like, well, I'm sorry, I gave it to so-and-so just because, you were late 3 times in the past 4 years for whatever or something. The boss will come up with ridiculous ideas not to give you a raise or a promotion. But, and then that just kills your pride. That just knocks you down. Give you a quick testimony on something that helped me. I've been talking to God every night. If you guys heard about my prayer list, I go through my prayer list, and then I talk to God. And it's amazing. It's like I'll be talking to Him, and He'll give me an idea or a vision or something, or He'll say something, and I'll stop and I'll look at it and I'll be like, what? And He'll say it again, and it's not overwhelming. That's not the right term for it. But something just washes over my body, and I feel a lot better. I handed over a lot of stuff to God. Stuff that I was struggling with personally. Things that I need to get past, because I can't teach you or help you if I've got the same issues in my life. So now that I've figured out how to handle it, when you come to me, you ask me, hey, I've got this problem. I can give you scripture. I can help you from my experience. And once you give something to God, if you're sick, you're struggling, you got a bill due to fix and set your electricity out or something. As an example, give it to God. He'll find a way. The money will be there. He'll find a way. He'll make a way. And you got to have the faith that it's going to happen. But give it to Him, and don't take it back. Don't say, "Well, God, you took your time. We're going to shut our lights off in an hour." don't take it back from them. Because as soon as you take it back from them, you just prove to God that, you know what, I don't need you. I can do it myself. And when you're sitting there in the dark because you took it away from God, the first person you're going to go to is God. You're going to be like, God, why didn't you help me? Why did you let my light get turned on? How come we're sitting here in the dark? You know, we can't see nothing. We can't watch TV. My kids can't play their video games. You know, whatever it is. And you're going to start blaming God. When God's just sitting there going, I had it, but you took it from me. You have to give it to him. You have to. It's like it says, cast your cares upon him. Once you do, leave it alone. Don't ask for it back. Don't take it back. Don't think, well, God's taking too long. I can do this on my own a lot faster. I guarantee you, you're not going to do it any faster, and it's going to take you longer. We're going to go to Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee and with the right hand of my righteousness. So we're going to jump to Matthew 11:28. It says, Come unto me, all ye that labored and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I had to throw that last one in there because we're always stressed, we're always tired because we're working so hard to make a living for our families. A lot of us, that's ingrained into us, is to work hard, to kill yourself, and you never get anywhere. I've done it for years. You know, there's people out there that's done it years longer than I have. I started working at age 11, off and on. My grandparents had a mechanic shop. I've been working on my bicycles and fixing cars ever since I could pick up a wrench. I learned about cars, and so after school, that's what I did after school. I got 50 cents an hour. I didn't see any of that money until, later on in life. But it doesn't matter. I learned a work ethic. I learned how to work. I learned how to do things properly. So that's all I know is turning wrenches. Yes, I was a tow truck driver for a while, a blazer for a while, a painter for a while, HVAC technician for a while, worked in the mines as a lube mechanic, heavy equipment operator, armed security, whatever I can do to pay the bills because my family wasn't going to suffer. And I took pride in that. And, it was stressful. All those jobs were stressful. Especially when it came to payday because my check went. And it's like, wait a minute, where'd it go? But my family was taken care of. My bills were paid. We had electricity, gas, water, food, a roof over our head. I had fuel in the vehicle to get back and forth to work. A lot of times we didn't have the luxuries of the internet or cable, but we got by. And I was always tired. I was always stressed out. And that's why we need to go and take it to God, take our cares to God, and give it to Him. You're going to feel better. Mentally, physically, spiritually, you're going to feel a lot better. Some of you guys are sitting here looking at me shaking your head going, yeah, right. Trust me, it works. The hard part is giving it to Him. Give it to Him and forget about it. There's that commercial for that convection oven or whatever it was. You set it and forget it. Well, that's what you got to do when you're giving cares to God. I set it and forget it. Because He'll come through and you won't be thinking about it. You won't be worried about it. He'll come through and you'll be like, oh yeah, thank you, Jesus. Because that's the hard part because that's how we're wired. You can't keep the stress on you if it's bothering you. No matter what it is, whether it's school, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your work, whether it's your finances, Whether, you're worried about the world's going to end, worried about who the next president's going to be, worried about everything that's negative that you see on TV, because that's the devil feeding that, and he's causing the stress. I don't watch the news. Why? Because 90% of it's negative, and it's what they want you to hear. It's not the true story. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes there's good stuff on the news, but it's controlled by the devil. Because if you look at the reports and everything, it's like today there was a bombing. I heard about it on Facebook. Thank God nobody was hurt. But see, the media would have turned that around, and they would have been like, you know what? Oh, it's this person and that person and that race and that religion and that belief. And they're trying to turn everybody against. The media is not. The devil's trying to turn everybody against everybody to incite the hate, incite the rage. Because the devil wants souls, just like God wants souls. But I can tell you, the souls that the devil gets, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be what people thought it was. But the souls that God gets, it's going to be amazing. It's everything that you can imagine that heaven is. And I guarantee you, the first thing you see when you get there is pearly gates. Streets paved with gold. And when you get to hell, well, I don't know what you're going to see there, but it's going to be the lake of fire. And it's going to be miserable. And you have a choice, you have to make some changes in your life. I can't tell you. I'm not going to condemn you for not making changes in your life. But I'm here to help you. My wife's here to help you. Anybody in the congregation is here to help you. And just don't let the devil get a hold of you. He's going to get a hold of you. Rebuke him. Tell him, get behind me, Satan. He's already been defeated. Why are we trying to defeat him again? Why are we trying to let him come in when he's already been defeated? The bottom line is you got to be careful. You know what? When you were younger, when you were growing up, you went out and you were fearless. You were careless. You weren't worried about the consequences. I'm not saying to be that way, but you didn't care. You weren't worried about things. But yet we're all in a hurry to grow up. Don't grow up. Don't be in a hurry to grow up. And even if you do, we're God's children. And all we got to do is stay childlike. Not childish, but childlike. And go to God with your problems or with what's bothering you. And a lot of times that's not easy because the devil's sitting there in your ear and you're trying to discuss it with God. What I found that works for me is I grab my phone and I Google the issue that I'm having. See what the Bible scriptures say about it. And I go to my Bible, turn on some worship music, and I read. And a lot of times there's a bunch of scriptures all over the Bible. And you may only need to read one or two, or you may need to read all of them. I'm not you. I can't tell you, just read one or two. If there's 30, read 30. If there's 50, read 50. Because it's going to help you. It'll give you a better understanding. It'll relax you. And just give it to God. Understand what He's trying to say through His words, and He'll interpret it for you. Or He'll give you a revelation while you're reading it to help you understand, whatever the issue is. This one, tonight we're talking about casting cares. So if something's bothering you, or you're worried about something, or you're hung up on something, give it to God. You know? And all you got to do is, is say, here, God, can you take this from me? I can't do it. God, this is bothering me. Take it from me. God, I've been messed up and sick over this for months. Take it. Give it to Him. Give it to Him. Don't say, okay, God, you know what? This is bothering me. Come get it. Give it to Him. Act like it's Father's Day or something. Give your father a gift. You may think, oh, that's kind of ridiculous, but it's true. God's not going to take it from you. Give it to Him. Get a tighter, get a fellowship with God. Things are a lot easier. You don't have to worry about anything. Stay out of the flesh as much as possible. I know that's easier said than done. Considering most of us have been living in the flesh 40 plus years. But you learn. And it's just like, make it simple. Surround yourself with the people that have the same interests as you. We've all had that relative that, was a drug addict, they went to rehab, they come out, they did good. What happened? They got in a circle with their old friends, their old habits started again. If you hang around doubters, unbelievers, people that are always depressed, people that are always down, people that are always moping, always sick, busted, broke, that's the way you're going to be, because that's the type of people you surround yourself with. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to not necessarily build you up, but they're not going to drag you down. And it's not necessarily a pride thing or anything like that, but if you surround yourself with positive people, then you're going to have a positive outlook on life. If you surround yourself with negative people, you're going to have a negative outlook on life. We've all done that. That used to be the biggest majority of the people I hung around with. Not necessarily that they brought me down, but we were all on the same level. We were all down. Broke, busted, and disgusted. And, God was working, trying to get me out of that. And He was showing me ways, but I wasn't listening. So as much as you want to talk to God, cry to God, yell and scream, kick rocks, cuss at God, whatever makes you feel better, you also have to take a minute to listen. Take 5 minutes to listen. Take 20 minutes to listen. Listen, there's a lot of people that have been waiting in the Bible. It tells you who were waiting a long time. Who was Abraham waited 90 years to have a son, and as soon as the son was born, but after his son was born, God wanted him to sacrifice him to show his obedience. There's other people that waited a long time in the Bible, for things. And I'm not saying that you're going to have to wait 100 years before you get an answer, but be patient. Be understanding. Don't get discouraged. That's another hard one. Don't get discouraged, because we always get discouraged when something doesn't go right, or something doesn't get done in a timely manner, or when we think it does. God works on His own time. He's going to give it to you when you think you deserve it. An example that I've heard a lot is you're not going to go out and buy a 5-year-old get a big motorcycle because he wants one. He's going to have to, you have to buy him a little one, and then he's going to have to grow up to it. And then once he gets to that stage where he can handle something bigger, then you get him something bigger. And then that's similar to the way God works. He's not going to give you something that you can't handle. He's not going to give you more than you can handle. A lot of times we feel overwhelmed when He does give us stuff that we can handle, because it's like the floodgates open and everything comes rushing down on you at one time. And then you're like, I thought God couldn't give me any more than I can handle. What am I going to do with this? You can handle it, or God wouldn't give it to you. So let's go to 1 Peter 5:7. It says, casting all your care upon Him, for He cares for you. we need to stop caring about things that we can't control. And basically, we can't control anything. Except for, certain aspects of our life, but we still can't control it. It's all God. God makes everything. Listen, I guarantee you, if God wouldn't have gave Thomas Edison the idea to have a light bulb, we'd still be standing around by candles. You wouldn't be watching this on the internet. You wouldn't be watching your big screen TV. If God wouldn't give somebody the idea and the know-how to build a car, you'd be walking everywhere or riding horses. Uh, God gave us all this knowledge. And it wasn't somebody just had a bright idea. Yeah, it came as a vision or as an idea. God put it into their head. And like I've said before, if it wasn't for Jesus coming and being the last sacrificial lamb, then we would still be doing sacrifices. And I guarantee you, the same amount of it, we probably wouldn't be as big as we are as a country, any country. Because we wouldn't have the blessings, we wouldn't have houses to live in. People would be sicker than what they are, a different sickness. So don't try to control everything. Don't try to run everything. Give it to God. That's what He wants. He's not telling you. He's not going to tell you, oh, well, you didn't go to church, or, you only go to church once a week, or once a year, some people. And don't beg Him. Don't say, oh, God, take this, please, please, please. Just say, God, can you take this from me? I can't do it. And leave it at that. It's simple. We were taught that, if it's God's will, and everybody's always crying and whining to God, oh, God, if it's your will, oh, hey, I saw you at church last Sunday. You're still sick. You still look pretty sick. Yeah, well, I guess it's not God's will for me to be healed right now. Well, you just think it. You just let the devil win. You can't think that way. You can't. When it comes on, say, hey, by His stripes I am healed. Get rid of it. Sometimes it's easier said than done. But keep speaking over it and keep praying over it. But don't pray. I'm going to say in vain, because that's what it sounds like. When they're, oh God, please take this from me. Oh God, please, please, please help me. It sounds like you're begging. You need to go boldly to the throne. You got to have the faith and the understanding. You're already healed. You're not sick. It's just the devil trying to drag you down. There's too much pride in the world. We're all full of pride. And once you get past your pride and understand that, it's only slowing you down, and that's all the devil's doing, is he's slowing you down. Because if he can slow you down and get you to fall into a pit, then he's going to keep you in that pit as long as he can. No matter what it is, we've all been there. We've all been in a pit. We've all hit rock bottom. And where's the first thing we do? We look up and ask God for help. Well, why do we have to ask for help when we're at the bottom? Why can't we ask for help when we're top to keep us from falling in the bottom? To keep us from dragging us down, because we're prideful. We have to do things on our own. We have to make people, we have to make ourselves look better to people. Then we can't show a sign of weakness. And it's not a sign of weakness asking for help. Because if you don't know how to do something, you're going to ask somebody how to do it. Now we have the internet. Well, we've had the internet for a long time. But you got the internet, you're looking up on YouTube, you're Googling it, how to do this, how to fix this. Somebody on there teaching you how to do it. They're giving you the knowledge to do it. And I know people are sitting there thinking, well, yeah, but I do that in my home and nobody sees me. You can talk to God in your home, in your car, in your shower, in your bathroom, in your bed, at work. God's there. God's with you all the time. It's not like God. It's not like you go to church to see God. You do to an extent, but God's with you. He's everywhere. And you got to get over your pride. You got to get over yourself, and you just got to give it to Him. Because if you've had it for any length of time, you already know that you can't do it. And it's causing you pain, it's causing you anxiety, it's causing you stress, it's affecting your life, it's affecting your friends, it's affecting your family, it's affecting everybody you come in contact with. You know, and a lot of people's issues is money, because we're in an economic world, and that's what the world thrives on. But you know what? Once you learn to get past the fact of money, and not worry about money, not care about money, it's going to get easier, you know. And all you got to do is give it to God. And if God tells you, you know what, hey, you got an extra $10, you know, give it to so-and-so. Hey, see that person on the corner, give it to him. Why? Because it's obedience. And God's going to see, well, He doesn't care about an extra $10. Let me see what He does with an extra $20. You know, but as soon as He says, "Oh, give him that $10," oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear nothing. Nobody said anything to me. Well, them voices in my head are going crazy. I don't know what telling me to give the stranger some money, and I got to have my money. But He's not going to trust you with anymore. It's the same thing with your life and how things are in your life and what you can handle. Because once He sees you can handle a situation, then He's going to add a little bit more to it. Because you already know how to handle this situation. See how you handle this situation. And then it's just going to keep building up. And then soon, there's not going to be anything that you can't handle. Why? Because you're going to look at the situation, you're going to assess the situation, and you're going to say, God, can you help me with this? I can really use your help. And a lot of times He's not going to answer you. Or He's going to say, deal with it yourself. Or not necessarily deal with it yourself that way, but He's going to say, let's see what you can do with it. How would you handle the situation? And you say, well, God, I would handle the situation this way. And God says, okay, well, that's not going to work. Well, then you go back and you reassess it. But as long as you're willing to work with God, things are going to be easier. You know, you can't keep it on yourself. So basically, be careless. You know, I know everybody's sitting there thinking, man, when I was a kid, I was riding a bicycle with no shoes and my feet up on the handlebars, flying as fast as I could go. Because you felt free. Nothing was tying you down. You had no responsibility. And you weren't worried about what was going to happen at the end of the street. And so as long as you have that freedom, and you can have that same freedom in your life now. Give stuff to God. And don't try to do it yourself. Be careless. And just give it to God. You know? We had a song tonight, Cast Your Cares. That was one of our worship songs. I think that went really well. Listen to that song. You know, all you should have to worry about in your life is peace, love, joy, long-suffering, all the good things in life. And it comes as soon as you have Jesus in your heart, as soon as you start giving stuff over to Him, understanding His will for you, understanding that we're children. Some of us act more childish than others. I won't mention names tonight. But, no, I mean, you just have to be childlike. And, you know, look at your kids. Prime example. You know, when the kids were little, here, can you open this for me? You know, opening a bottle, can of soup, whatever, it's the same thing with God. Give it to Him. Ask Him for help. Because He's with us, He wants to help. That's what He wants. He doesn't want any more. He doesn't want any less. He just wants us to be happy. That's what we want in the end, is to be happy. But as long as you're keeping all this balled up, and you keep letting the devil drag you down, and everything, it's gonna keep affecting you. It's a vicious cycle. But once you break that cycle, then you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is something new. I was used to going around in circles, but what happened? You get off the merry-go-round. Because that's what it is with the devil. It's merry-go-round. Everything's complete. It's a cycle. It may be different, but it's still the same cycle. He might be saying, oh, well, your boyfriend or husband or wife or girlfriend or whatever is cheating on you. He puts that in the back of your head. So you start thinking about that. Or, oh, look, you got this bill. How are you going to pay this bill when you're broke? Oh, you got a bill because you had to pay, kids' doctor bills or kids needed food. Oh, they're going to turn your power off? How are you going to pay for that? You see how you pay for that? You work overtime? You got to pay a babysitter extra money? At that point, you say, devil, shut up. Call your father. He'll take care of you. That's what we do around here. My wife said it a bunch of times. She'll go and she'll pray for the money. She's like, we need money for this. Or, we need money for that. Or, you know what, I'm getting low on gas. I'm going to need money because I got to run in. I'm going to run into somebody. And it happens. And it's not because she's worried about it. It's because she gives it to God. Sometimes she worries about it because it happens. We get in it, we get to that point, and because that's what we're used to. And you have to break that cycle. It's generational. It's for years, ever since there's been money. Or we have to break that. And it starts with you. You're the one that can break it. You can prevent it from going any further down the line. Because God's there, God's going to take care of you. You just got to have faith, you got to have belief, and you have to receive what God gives you. You have to be willing to receive. Because God's not going to give you something, He's not going to force you to take it. It's like giving your kids their vitamins or, their medicine they need to take or something. I mean, everybody knows how kids are. They're not going to take it. They don't want it. Or you try to give them a toy that they don't want, or something, you can't force it. Because you realize you force it, and then all of a sudden, you stop forcing it, and they're like, hey, I want this now. Or, you catch them differently, at a different time. I used to have to sneak medicine to my son all the time, because he wouldn't take it. Because he used to get sick. In the wintertime, he'd get the croup and all, his lungs all full, and coughing and hacking and wheezing. And I would have to sneak the medicine in. And I tried the different flavors, and it didn't work. All this tastes like grape. He didn't like it. All this tastes like strawberry. He didn't like it. It tastes like cherry. He didn't like it. But I got to where I was forcing him to take it because I knew that's what he wanted. I knew that's what he needed. But God's not going to force you to take something. He's going to offer it, and you have to be willing to receive it. And if you're unsure if it's from God or the devil, test the fruit. I always tell you that because I don't want you to say that every voice you hear of something good is God, because it's not. It's the devil. Because he's going to come in as a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that's when he's going to destroy. He's going to make life miserable for you. Not necessarily going to destroy it, but he can, because you let him in. And it's simple to tell if it's from God because you don't have to pay for it. It's going to be given to you, and it's going to be given by somebody. And you just have to be willing to receive it. Whether it's a compliment, whether it's $50 that you didn't know that you needed, that God knows you need, whether it's a new car, whether it's, a bill paid. Just get your pride out of the way and accept it. Well, I've seen people that don't have a lot of pride. They have pride, but not as much as most people, and the homeless. Because they're willing to receive. You go so long without eating. You're ready for whatever, you know. And I seen a guy one time when I was driving tow truck. I thought he was getting cans. I thought he was picking in the trash for cans. So I wasn't going to say nothing to him. And I kept watching the guys. I'll go over there and give him some money. So I got out of my truck, walked 50 yards to where this guy was digging in the trash. And I handed him $10. I said, here. I said, how you doing? Talk to him, gave him the $10. I said, here, God said to give you this. And he looked at me and he started crying. He said, I'm sitting in here digging in the trash for pizza scraps. He said, I'm hungry. I said, well, why don't you go right here to the restaurant and get you something to eat? He said, thank you. I said, no. I said, don't thank me, thank God. Because I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have went over and given him it. It was God that told me. And this guy received it. So that's what we got to do. We got to get pride out of the way, and we got to receive it. Because I guarantee you, somebody came up to me and handed me keys to a brand new motorcycle, brand new car, brand new truck, I would take it, whether it was something I wanted or not, because I know it's from God. But I'll guarantee you it'll be something that I want or something that I ask for that comes from God, because God knows He wants these and desires of our heart. And it's coming. It's coming every day. I'm just waiting for it to manifest. It's here. I keep thanking God for it. Yes, it's my right. And it's going to be here. Listen, you got your Escalade. Lisa got her Blazer. So it's coming. It's coming. But we just got to, we just can't keep. We got to quit trying to find ways to get what we want. That's something I have trouble with. I tried for a long time to figure out how to get a trike. And I haven't tried to get a trike in about 2.5 weeks. I haven't thought about ways to get it. It comes on me and I dismiss it because I know it's of the devil, because the devil wants me to get it. That way the devil can take it away from me. But you know what? The devil's not going to get the things that I want. The devil's not going to get it because I'm taking back from the devil. I'm taking back everything that he's taking from me. I'm going to get it back. And you know what? The one thing the devil's got that everybody wants is money. And you know what? As long as we're obedient to God and we give, God's going to take that money from the devil's bank account. He's not going to take it from here. He's taking it from the devil. And He gives it to you. And when He gives it to you, you can just say, thank you, Jesus. I appreciate it. You can look at the devil and laugh, stick your tongue out, wherever you want to do. But that's where it's coming from. It's not coming out of God's pocket. We just gotta start being obedient, understanding God's plan for us, where God wants us to be, so we can move on, we can grow spiritually. Once you grow spiritually, everything else follows suit. But it's hard to get to that point. But once you get there, it's easy to fall, but it's easier to stay. Because the path is lighted for you. It's not dark anymore. You can see where you need to go. You can see where the edge is where you're going to fall. And if you get to a point where it looks a little scary, because a lot of people don't like heights, you get to a point that looks a little scary, you might fall. Say, Jesus, take my hand. Hold me through this. And He's going to take your hand and He's going to help you past that. And you're going to be like, okay, I can do this. And something else comes up. I don't know if there's any more of them around, but the old boat bridges, really old bridges with the old planks and stuff. You see in a lot of movies over the rivers and stuff. When you get to a point like that, when you're walking with Jesus, you say, hey, Jesus, can you help me through? And He'll take your hand and He won't let you fall. You get to a log, whatever, He will help you across it. He will get you across it. But you have to ask. You have to be willing to receive. So I think that's pretty much it for tonight. But just remember, cast your cares on Him, and He'll get you through it. Give it to Him. Let Him have it. Don't take it back. Because as soon as you take it back, it's going to come back on you 100 times worse than what it already was. And the devil's going to drag you down into the pit. And the devil's going to start feeding you with all this negative stuff. And it's going to affect you. And you're going to be depressed and upset. And you're going to be mad at God. And it's not God, anything God has to do with it. It's all you. But if you give it to Him and leave it alone, set it and forget it, and I guarantee you, when God works it out and takes care of it, you're going to be surprised. You're going to be shocked. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know? And it's not going to be God's like, hey, you know what? I took care of this for you. It's going to come, but God's going to be like, okay, remember that? It's taken care of. I'm like, I forgot about that. You know? Or, you know, oh, wow, my light bill's paid. My light, let's get this thing on. Somebody paid your light bill for you. God paid it. Thank God. And don't start wondering who did it or why they did it. Thank God. Because if it wasn't through God, it would have never got done. I want to thank you all. Yes.
Am I allowed to talk?
No, you can't talk. Yeah.
Well, because of pride, that's the devil's biggest thing. Is because of the fact, I'm so proud of my husband, I'm so proud of him growing in Christ, but I can tell you right now, the reason why the devil brings pride into your life is because why did the devil fall from heaven?
Pride.
Because he said, I will exalt myself higher than God and take the throne of God. And so with pride, he fell. So if he can give you pride so that you can fall. Because see, everything that we have, we was given. We didn't have to earn. Jesus gave it to us. And see, now he can't get what we have, so it makes him jealous of us. And I know a lot of us have had siblings and other people in our lives that were jealous of us. And through that, you could see how they wanted to take you down because of their jealousy. They will talk about you and make up some stuff and turn some stories around that didn't even happen that way to make themselves look better because of jealousy and pride. And see, you know, my husband, you know, through me, see, I didn't get to do this. Somebody wasn't holding my hand when God took me through this kind of stuff. I had to go through it by myself. See, I've been through it so I can say, listen, hon, this is how it works. Because it took me 5 years of God showing me visions and beating this stuff into my head. And I had pride. I had so much pride. And I think that that hurts us all because we can't even admit when we're wrong. We can't even say, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Because of pride. And you know how many relationships could be saved from somebody just saying, I was wrong. I did it. I'm going to take ownership of my part of it. And when God called me into the ministry, I had to forgive every debt that was owed to me. Every person. And some of it was hundreds of dollars. And God said, that wasn't your money anyways, it was mine, forgive it. And I went to those people and I said, listen, you don't owe me any money. And they were like, what? I was like, this chick has really lost her mind. I owe her $300. I was like, you don't owe me nothing. I had to call every person that I had a problem with in my life and apologize to them, even if I wasn't totally in the wrong, because even my ex-husband, I called and apologized to him for anything that I had done. And you know, God wanted me to call my dad. And me and my dad had had such a bad relationship, and that was like one of the hardest things for me to do. And I waited for him to be the last person. But I called my dad and I said, you know, I would like to apologize for any part of our bad relationship that I have done. Anything that I have done to you, Dad, in my life to make us have a rough relationship. And it changed our relationship. Because sometimes, see, when you don't have any pride, it doesn't even matter whether you're the one that's wrong. When you don't have pride, it doesn't matter whether you're wrong or right. It matters whether you want the relationship or not. So if the devil can use pride to take down a nation, because I'm telling you, he's not taken down individuals with pride. He's taken down a nation with pride. The whole nation. Instead of saying, listen, I'm sorry. I've been wrong. I've done it wrong. I had to go to every one of my children and apologize for stuff that I had did wrong. And a lot of parents, they raise kids, but they won't never apologize to their children when they're wrong. And it teaches their children not to apologize when the children are wrong. And it's because of pride. How much less things will we have to go through if we just learn to say sorry and just say, listen, me and my husband, we don't get into very many arguments and stuff, but even if he gets mad at me, I will go to him and I'll be like, listen, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to upset you. I wasn't trying to make you mad. I don't know why you're upset with me right now, but I want to apologize if I did something. And it ends it right there. But this is what we usually do. Well, I don't even care. I didn't even do nothing. It's all him. I ain't even gonna speak to him for a week. Let's see if I even make him some dinner now. Well, let's just see. I'm just gonna punish them by not talking to him, and you're probably not punish them at all by not talking to him. He probably wishes I'd shut up half the time. So he's probably thinking, hallelujah, she's mad at me. She ain't talking to me for a week. But listen, we have to get rid of that. It's killing us as people and as a nation. We can't even receive nothing from God. Do you know how many people I counsel and they say, but I got to do it myself. Why take my problems to God when I can handle it? There's so many other people that need His help. Well, apparently you do too, because you wouldn't be in this situation and have these issues if you would just lay down your pride and say, God, I need help. I need help, God. I've messed the whole thing up. So maybe we need to all lay down our pride. Because even when we think we don't have pride, we have it. When you won't bow to somebody else's needs before your own, it's because of pride. And it doesn't matter what it is. Putting the toilet seat up and down. Listen, I want to make everything easier for you, no matter what it is. I'm going to go out of my way to make sure you're taken care of. I will come after you. It doesn't matter. That's what we need to be like. That's what Christ was like. He says, I'm going to give my life. I'm going to give you my life. I'm going to lay this down. Even though half of us didn't even deserve it. None of us deserved what He gave. He had no pride. And that's all of our problems. Every single one of us has a pride issue. And when we can get over that and learn to give, even though we don't get anything out of it, that's it right there. Give when you don't get nothing. Give when you don't receive anything in return. That's why you do everything unto the Lord, not unto people. Because listen, it doesn't matter if they give back to you. It only matters God seen it. God knows what you did. God knows what you've been doing. You don't need people recognition. You need Jesus recognition, not people. That's the difference with me. See, people don't understand. They're like, you can't preach like that. You can't do this. You can't. I can do whatever I want because I'm not trying to please y'all. I'm trying to please Him. And as long as He's pleased with me, the rest of the world can be pissed off at me. Because y'all don't decide where I go. He does. So start giving from your heart. Quit always have to getting something in return to do something nice for somebody else. When you can do stuff for people without receiving anything, that's what makes you like God. When we go feed the homeless, there's nothing they can do for us. But we go and give because, listen, we have something to give. None of this stuff's going to matter anyway. Listen, if I die tomorrow, somebody's going to be living in my house and driving my car, wearing my clothes. What does it matter? We have to quit looking here at all this material crap. Yes, I said crap. Because that's what it is. We don't need most of it. We don't need it. We don't have to have it. We got so much stuff nowadays sitting around collecting dust. We got stuff running out our butts, running out somebody else's butt. Everybody's got stuff, and you're like, yo, I need more stuff. Well, where are you going to put it? We're going to have to build a whole nother house just to keep all your extra stuff. And you're like, I might need that. I ain't wore it in 2 years. But one day. And then there's somebody that ain't got something, that needs something, and you ain't wore something in 2 years and can't give anything. Pride. Everything that I've ever given away, God has given me it back. Most of the time He gave it back to me. You know, I gave my house away. I gave everything in it away. And He gave me, you know, since then, I had an apartment that I didn't pay for. Every bit of furniture that was in that apartment was given to me. Suede couches, dressers, and I left it all in Pennsylvania and came here. I had nothing but a twin bed in this house, and everything in this house has been given to me. Everything. Don't store it, give it. Because God may be trying to give you something better than what you even had before, because everything I have now was nicer than what I had before. If I wouldn't have donated that stuff, I wouldn't have got better stuff. Listen, when we first started this church, people were sitting on lawn chairs. Now some of them actually have a little cushion to them. I'm just saying. Not very much, because we don't want you to get too comfortable here and fall asleep on us, but let's go home. Let's pray. and say, God, show me where I'm prideful. Show me how to take this out of me. Because I don't want anything in me that's not of you. I don't want to be like the devil. I don't want to have those feelings. I don't want to go around hurting people. And that's what pride does. It hurts other people, even when you're not trying to. And then the person that it hurts the worst is you. When I started this ministry and I had to start receiving stuff, woo! Even my mom couldn't go with me. She's like, I can't even go places with you. She goes, everywhere we go, people's buying us food, and they take us out to eat, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. And I don't feel right. I don't feel right about this. I said, Mom, have I ever asked anybody to take me to eat? She was like, well, no. I was like, so how am I going to rob that person of their blessing? Because this is exactly what God said to me. He said, when I tell somebody to give you something, and you do not receive it, you rob them of their blessing. Because if I did that and told them, and they, in obedience, they came to you to do something, and then you wouldn't do it, didn't receive it, you robbed them. He said, do you want to rob other people of their blessings? And then I was like, oh no. So it changed my outlook on it. He said, you're robbing them just as much as you're robbing yourself. And see, everybody overlooks the Bible where it says, if you give, it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. It doesn't say God. It says men. But if you're always stopping your own blessing from coming because of pride. Because look, really, if you go somewhere and somebody's like, hey, I got this thing, and do you want this? And you're like, oh no, I'm good. Now you've even been praying for one. You've been praying for that exact thing, but since somebody tried to give it to you, you didn't want to receive it. So you're like, no, I'm good. I don't need it. You're kicking yourself all the way home going, man, that was beautiful. I'd have loved to have that. And God's sitting, I tried to give it to you. Hello. All you had to do was say, thank you. So how many blessings have you stopped because of pride? We really need to get, that is the root of all evil. Because most sin, almost every one of them, starts with pride. Adultery starts with pride. My needs are greater than your needs. So if you don't meet my needs the way I need you to meet them, I will find somebody else to do it. Stealing is a form of pride because you don't have the money for it, but you think that you deserve it. So you take it even though it don't belong to you. Murder is a sense of pride because you decide that your life is worth more than somebody else. So you take somebody else's life. Every sin starts with pride. Every one of them. Because that's what the devil started with in heaven when he fell. So if we can get rid of that spirit of pride, everything can change. Everything. I want to thank my husband for bringing the message tonight. But that should change us all. If we lay down our pride. Why are you not good enough? You think you're too good to live in this situation for a time. You think you're too good to do this. You think you're too good to do that. You think you're too good to experience something, that maybe God's trying to show you something through putting you through something so that He can humble you, so that you can be where you need to be, because pride has been stopping you from receiving the things, and so He has to take you through something to get you somewhere, to get you off yourself. I want God to bless y'all. I want God to minister to all people. Listen, people think that I pray a whole bunch of stuff. I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not like my husband. I don't go through a prayer list every night. This is what I tell God. God, I could pray for lots of things, but what I pray for is souls. I pray for more followers of Jesus Christ. Because I have everything I need in heaven already. It's already, He went and prepared a place for me. And how dare I go alone without taking people with me? So what do you need to pray for that we're so self-consumed with? That's why God blesses me and gives me stuff. Because I don't pray, God, give me this, God, give me that, God, do this for me, God, do that. I said, God, help me help you. Help me help them. Help me bring people to you. Show me how to do it, God, because I can't do it by myself. I don't know what to do. I don't know. But you can't even give Jesus away. Nobody wants it. That's heartbreaking. That's so heartbreaking that people don't want the greatest gift. And I've been guilty. I was guilty first. See, I will never point the finger unless I take it on myself first. I did it. I was guilty. That's what we need to be praying for. That these seats are filled. That lives begin to change. Instead of praying all this nonsense that we're praying. That God delivers His people just like He did out of Egypt. Thank y'all. God bless you and have a good night.